Welcome to the midweek show, the Fantasy Lens. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied as usual by co-host Nick and producer Vince. The Fantasy Lens episode is brought to you by ANC Photo Booth. Spring is around the corner, which means what? All the parties are around the corner. Communions, baptisms, weddings, bachelor parties, anything, you name it. All those parties are about to start, and there ain't no party without a crazy ass photo booth. And ANC Photo Booth is the best in the business in the greater Montreal area. We just had our first referral get back to us saying she had a fantastic time with a great service and was super grateful for the price. Cynthia and Andrew will give you the best service. They'll give you the best price. You tell them Partial Breakaway sent you, you get an even better price. A and C Photo Booths on Instagram, AAND Photo Booths. You reach out to Andrew and Cynthia, and they'll take very good care of you. All right. So last week on the Fantasy Lens, we took a look at value contracts. Who's worth the money they're making in terms of points? And Dorofeev was number one on that list, providing the best bang for buck. This week, we're going to take a look at who are the unluckiest players so far this year. What does that mean is who's getting all these chances that normally they would score on, but they're not capitalizing. And what was the case last year? Are we seeing a pattern, or is it really that they're just unlucky this year and they should turn it around? Which would make for an interesting buy low. So, guys, you ready? You know what the plan is? We're ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right. So we're not going to play much of a trivia game. I'm just going to try to go down the list. We'll start with the first top few guys, and then I have a few honorable mentions. We'll start with the first one, and I think this one's pretty intriguing. I'm curious to know what your opinion is on this, what the reason is for this. But the first guy is Jake DeBrusk of the Vancouver Canucks. He's got 15 goals, 33 points this year, and he's got a goals above expected of minus 13.5. So based off his high danger scoring chances and his play, he should actually be at 28 or 29 goals, which is 14 more than what he has. Now, last year, he was the 136th worst. So his goals above expected was only minus 1.4. So it's a give or take. He was pretty even last year. So my question to you guys, Nick and Vince, is do you guys think this is just him being on is this his first full season on a new team? Vancouver's not that great. There's been the whole Quinn Hughes saga. Does that have anything to do with him like not capitalizing? Is this really bad luck? Can you count on him next year to be what they're expecting is almost a 30-goal scorer?
Well,
Well,
he's never been. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say it's not his first year. It's his second year on Vancouver. He played 82 games on Vancouver last year. He had 28 goals last year, which was great. Only 48 points, however, in total. And this year he's on pace for 39. So that's about 9 to 10 points less than he had last year. Which to me basically makes sense if Vancouver Canucks are not having a good year this year. So I would say that this is a lot more to do with Vancouver than it does with Jake.
Fair enough, Vince.
I don't know. He's never been a 30-goal scorer. Sometimes he potentially could have been, but didn't play enough games or got injured. But I don't know. He had his opportunities in Boston and didn't take it. Then he went to Vancouver. His first year, 48 points in 82 games. This year, Vancouver is just a dumpster. But nothing says that he's going to get traded. So, I mean, no, I don't think it's bad luck. I just think that's the player he is. If anybody thinks Jake DeBrusk is going to be a 70-point player or a 30-goal scorer, I mean, he hasn't proven that he could be that. So, uh, I just feel this is the player he is. 50 to 60 points. Might have one good year, but if you're basing your hopes on might have one good year, it's not a great solution.
Well, I'm going to add, though, that his shooting percentage is only 8.6. That's half of what he had last year, and he scored 28 goals. So I think there is, to a certain extent, a bit of a lack of luck here. And in cap leagues at $5.5 million, it's not a bad depth guy to have, especially with cap going up in the NHL, which likely means the cap goes up in your fantasy leagues. He could be an extremely buy low, or maybe someone's going to drop him and might not be a bad depth guy to have for next year on a team that has nothing to play for. So, it's not like he's going to go get benched because he's not making the effort to get back or whatever. I can see this possibly turning around a little bit for Jake DeBrusk. The second guy on this list is intriguing as well. His name is Anders Lee of the New York Islanders, who has 16 goals, 22 assists for 38 points on the year. His goals above expected is also minus 13.4, which would mean, based off his play and his scoring chances in high danger areas and medium danger areas and his low shooting percentage, he should actually be at close to 30 goals on the season. Now, last year, he was 37 worst goals above expected at minus 5.8. So now this got even worse this year. Nick, I'll start with you this time. Or no, Vince, I'll start with you this time. Anders Lee, I mean, this is different because he's older. He's older in age, right? So there's always a natural regression that comes when you're. I just want to bring up his age here. Unless you guys have it, you want to bring it up.
35.
But
He's
he's
35.
35 years old. So naturally, there's going to be a bit of a regression, and maybe it's not a question of luck, but just he's not as quick with his hands and can score in the dirty areas, but he's always in the dirty areas, which is why they expect him to score more goals.
I think this is just a player that's declining, not because of effort, but because of age.
Yeah.
It's not everybody can play past 35. We've seen it. Once players hit 30, there is some kind of decline in 75% of the players. Some could be a really small decline, but others it's a big downfall. So for Andres Lee at 35 years old, going into 36, playing with a young team in a Patrick Roy system, I mean they'll depend him on power plays. I still think he'll get his power play times, but it'll be difficult to repeat the good old lead the seasons that he's had, where he's had 54, 50 points and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Nick, before I let you in on this, I just went to check 2023-2024 season, and his goals above expected was minus 15.8. So there's clearly here a pattern for three consecutive seasons where he's expected to score more goals than he actually has.
Mhm.
And that's in correlation with his age, obviously, him getting older. So, Nick, anything you want to add, or is this just as simple as he's getting older and he can't keep up, basically?
I think it's a little bit of the older thing, but I mean, if you take a look, if you like really drill down and you take a look at his power play percentages, this year he has 16 goals, right, which is lower than he had last year. He's at 36% of the power play time. Last year he had 29 goals. He had 53% of the power play time. The year before that, he had only 20 goals and he was at 37% of the power play. But the year before that, he had 28 goals and he had 66% of the power play. So I think the fact of the matter is that yes, he's playing less now than he's ever played really before. But in the years that he puts up those 28, 29, 28, like he's scored 28 multiple times in his career. He had 1 year of 40 goals. Uh, the power play is a big part of it. And if he's not going to be getting the deployment, and as the Islanders are getting better around him, I feel like there's going to be less and less deployment for him. So it's too much of a risk for me to have him as a fantasy asset moving forward, especially at that salary. He's a little bit of a pass for me.
Yeah, it really seems like it's just an accumulation of things. Getting older, less playing time, not as quick. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that's a guy. Obviously, I would agree we would stay away from in terms of fantasy. The next guy is fascinating. The next guy is really fascinating because I think many of you listening, at some point or another, drafted this guy thinking this is the year this is the year he gets back to his 30 or 40 goals. This is the year. This is the year he's going to do it. I'm going to draft him. He's due. And he's never quite due, it seems. So, Timo Meyer, who since he's joined the Devils hasn't quite performed to expectations. His goals above expected this year is minus 10. He has 21 goals this year, which would mean his expected goals is 31. And I just want to state that this exercise was prepared on Saturday during the day. So it doesn't take into account the games that were played Saturday and Sunday. And what happens is things change pretty quickly in this area of data. So I'm sure if you go on Money Puck and you go look this up, it's going to look a little bit different. But nonetheless, here we are. Timo Meyer, minus 10 goals above expected. Last year, he had a goals above expected of minus 4, ranking him 67th worst goals above expected. And in 2023-2024, just to give more context, he actually had better goals above expected, which was 2. So he was like pretty much kif performing more or less as expected. His shooting percentage has dropped. He's pretty much getting deployment. But is this who Timo Meyer is now? Consecutive seasons with negative goals above expected? Or do we think at some point he can actually get back to scoring 30 plus goals? Nick.
Problem with Meyer is not only that he's not actually putting up the numbers that he's expected to, but his salary is so high that it has been hurting people that own him. Now, having said that, he has been on fire lately. So lately, he has actually shown a little bit of life. 4 points in his last 4 games. He's still only pacing for 46 points for the year. His shooting percentage is a little bit lower than it was last year and the year before that. So his average is 10. He's at 9 right now, shooting percentage. So there's maybe room for a little bit more, but um, I think Timo Meyer at his best, and I'm not counting about that 1 year that he had 76 points, but I think at his best he's a 60-point player, a consistent 60-point player, and if 30 of them could be goals, that's perfect. If 28 of them are goals, that's still close enough to 30 that it makes sense, right? Um, his ice time has been going up, not lower in New Jersey. So there's reason for some optimism. It's just that salary. That salary is just out of this world. Like he could be a fantasy relevant player, but his salary really pushes him out of the conversation in our type of leagues that we're in.
To me, a 30 goal scorer is always relevant in fantasy because goals are always more important. He's proven that he can score 30. He did it once, twice. He hit 40 another time. With New Jersey, the first year, he had 69 games, 28 goals. 26 this year, 22 goals in 68 games. I think with Timo Myers, more health. Can he stay healthy? He's gonna hit his 30s next year in October. He'll be 30. But if New Jersey can do a quick turnaround from this year to next year, and the team is better, Jack Hughes stays healthy, I think it'll help Timo Meyer. And as long as he's close to that 30 goal mark, I think he'll always be relevant in fantasy.
And in cap leagues at 8.8 million, you think it's still worth it?
With the salaries going up, yeah, 100%. I think
Nick,
right now that in dynasty leagues, I think the salaries you should be worried about because the salary cap is going high so quickly in the NHL. It's once the players start hitting the 9.5, 10 million, that's where I would worry more and say that I need a real big production from players like that.
Nick, you agree or you're out on Meyer?
No, I'm still out on Meyer, but um, like if you're looking for value, he's got to hit that 30 goals, right, in order
Yeah.
for him to be valuable. And although you said that he's hit it 3 times, you're right, he has. He's also though been in the league for 10 years. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years, let's say, with his rookie year. So hitting it 3 times in 10 years is not really consistency, right?
Yeah, but
So,
three other years he's been at 28 goals in 68 games. 20 this year, 22 goals in 68 games, 26 goals in 80 games. He's still been close. That's why I said health wise he needs to stay healthy. If he could play 80
yeah,
games, he
absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. But 8.8 million for that kind of risk, is it really worth it? Like,
uh,
I'm pretty sure I could find guys that are cheaper that could do similar production.
I don't know. If you have cap space, I would still take a chance on Timo Meyer.
Fair enough.
I think I'd be out, but I think that's taking a chance would be more a team that's in the bottom half of the standings that you could maybe use as a trade chip later to get assets in return for what you're planning for the future. But to be a team that's in contention, to have a guy at 8.8 that you're hoping can get back to 30 goals, I think that's too big of a risk at that salary. The next guy at number 4, we won't spend too much time on him because he's not quite fantasy relevant, even as a depth player, but I'll mention him nonetheless. At number 4 is Jack McBain, who's played 1,015 minutes so far this year. And keep in mind that this list is based off minimum 1,000 minutes played this year, okay? He's got 8 goals, 16 assists, 24 points. He's got a minus 9 goals above expected. Last year, however, he was in the positive. He was at point 0.7. He was 253rd worst. So a regression, a big time regression here for Jack McBain. But again, last year, even though he was performing at par in 82 games, he had 27 points. So unless there's something you guys want to add, I'm going to move on to number 5, who is a much better talking point. You guys okay with that, or you want to add something on Jack McBain?
No, move on,
All
please.
right.
Please.
Number 5, Thomas Hurdle, who's got 24 goals this year, 54 points, minus 9 goals above expected. So again, based off, he's got 16.88 high danger scoring chances, 11.35 medium danger, and 4.8. So basically, Hurdle's always at the right place to have the best chance to score. His shooting percentage is 13.10. So this is the highest shooting percentage of the top 5 players on this list. So his shooting percentage is good. He's in the right areas to maximize his chances of scoring goals. Yet, he's at minus 9.1 goals above expected, which means he should probably be at 33 goals so far this season. To me, out of all the guys we've mentioned, this is the most unluckiest player. Would you agree, Vince?
Oof, 0 points in his last 11 games played. Um, I don't know if I don't know. I have my I'm a big pass on Hurdle. With his
Interesting.
age, with his age, he's pacing for the same amount of points as Timo Meyer is, but Timo Meyer gets more goals than he does. So Timo Meyer is 2 years younger. S- to me, it's just a bad like 24 goals and 30 assists, 54 points this year, pacing for 64. Last year, pacing for 69. I think the his age is catching up to him. And at the end of the day, he's also playing on a Vegas team that struggled. I mean, they just fired their coach because of their struggles. So I'm not sure if Torts can light the fire under him. But as of next year, he's going to be at 33 years old. To me, if I compare him with Timo Myers, I vote Timo Myers.
Interesting. And you know what? The comparison is very valid. And Nick, where do you stand here on Hurdle?
Well, both ex San Jose guys, right?
Hmm.
And both guys that were on a pretty declining team at the time and got a lot of minutes in San Jose when they were playing, and both had career years right before they got traded, pretty much. Uh, well, sort of, but because Hurdle wasn't really having a career year, but he was at 63 points. His best ever was 74 in 2018. That was a long time ago, guys. Um, Hurdle is 32 years old, 0 points in his last 11 games played.
That's incredible.
Uh, $8 million. I kind of like what Vince said. Give me Meyer, give me Meyer instead of this guy. Like, get rid of this guy from your team. This is horrible. He's not doing well, and it's unfortunate because I mean, even with Torts coming in now, like maybe there's going to be a little bit of a revival here near the end. But if he's killing you in a league, dude, get rid of him.
Well, I have him, and that's the decision I got to make heading into next year. The difference between him and him and Meyer is just that he's had more success more recently than Meyer has. Like last year, he scored 32 goals in 73 games, which probably would have brought him closer to 35. And he was pacing for 69 points had he played 82 games. So I think that's the reason Hurdle might have had a bit of an edge. I didn't state it earlier, but last year he was -1 goals above expected, and which is pretty much even. And the year before that, in 2024, he was also pretty much even. So this could either really be bad luck or the beginning of a regression that comes with age. So that'll be interesting to follow. So yeah, Meyer over Hurdle.
You're
That
lucky in Lama. You don't have him signed next year. He's a UFA, so
yeah, you're right.
easy to get rid of him.
Goodbye.
Easy to get rid of him.
All right.
You go.
Number 6 was Andrew Kopp at -8.9. I want to go to number 8 here on this list, which is William Eklund of the San Jose Sharks. William Eklund has 12 goals, 43 points so far this year in 66 games played. He's got a goals above expected of -8.2. Last year, he had a goals above expected of -5.6, ranking him 36th worst. This year, so far, he's the 8th worst. His shooting percentage right now, as of Saturday, of course, 7.6%, which is pretty low for William Eklund. Nick, is this bad luck? Is this too many mouths to feed in San Jose? What does this mean for William Eklund to be consecutive seasons at what I think is a substantial number of a negative number of goals above expected?
Yeah, I traded him away in a league um, uh, because I was getting William Nylander in return, and Eklund was somebody that the other team was coveting because they think that there's a bounce back coming. I'm just a little bit worried. I mean, the guy's never scored 20 goals in his career so far, and the talent around him has gotten really, really good. I'm not out on the player. I've always said age 25 is my cutoff for some of these guys. But he's kind of lost some ice time from compared to last year, right? He's not that go-to guy anymore. So for me, there's some red flags here with William Eklund moving forward. I still think though that San Jose is going to be so good around him that it's going to just carry him on their backs and bring him into relevancy. But right now, he hasn't scored 20 goals in his career, and that's scaring me a bit. I thought he was going to have a good year this year.
Yeah, he's still young at 23, going to be 24 next year. I mean, he's played full seasons in the NHL. It's the third full season in the NHL right now. The goal scoring worries me a bit. Like Nick said, he hasn't scored 20 goals yet in the 3 seasons he's there, and he's been getting the deployment. I mean, he's been playing 18, 19, 90-minute time of ice per game. So um, his shooting percentage is really low this year at 7.6. So usually it would be a 11.3, 12.5. But I wouldn't give up on this kid. I think San Jose is building something really nice over there. I think he'll get all the opportunities to play with talented players. He'll still be a top 6 player for that San Jose team. So I believe it's more of a wait and see with William Eklund, and next year I think it'll be a better season. Will it be his breakout season? I'm not sure, but it'll be a better season for him next year for sure.
Right now, he's on the second line with Wenberg and Sherwood, and he's on power play 2 with Misa, Sherwood, and Chernyshov. So he doesn't have the greatest deployment. Obviously, you would want to be on the first line or the first power play with a Celebrini. Uh, but next year, guys, in cap leagues, it's very important to know his salary is going to $5.6 million next year for the next 3 years.
Hmm.
So if you can't crack 20 goals and you're going to make 5.6, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. However, I still think it's a safe enough contract to take a chance on him for at least a year, given the fact that he's on a team that scores a lot of goals and that's full of talent around him. All right, moving on up to okay. I'm going to mention this guy just for one reason and one reason only. If you ever wonder why players keep getting second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances in the NHL, well, this could be part of the reason. Jonathan Drouin is ranked at 10th in goal, worst goal above expected at minus 7.6. He's only got 4 goals, so technically he would be at 11. But it's just funny because this guy keeps, he gets an opportunity. The Islanders signed him to $4 million last year, which was everyone knew was going to be a terrible contract. But then when you go look at some underlying stats and you see that, maybe he just had a bit of bad luck. Maybe it was just, maybe he was just unlucky. So let's give him another shot. And clearly, I think it's more than just luck at this point with Jonathan Drouin. Okay, moving on to number 12 on this list, Mason McTavish. Healthy scratch as of late, a couple of games in a row. The Anaheim Ducks are getting better, but McTavish, after signing his new contract, doesn't seem to be keeping up to par with these guys going off the radar like Gauthier and Seneca and Terry, who are having great seasons. McTavish can't quite seem to get there. He's got a negative goal above expected of 7. He currently has 14 goals, which will bring him to 21. A little bit more respectable, 21 goals as opposed to his 14. He's still very young. He's got a shooting percentage of 11.2, which is pretty fair. Guys, this is an important question because a lot of people in fantasy gems right now are wondering, is it time to cut ties with this guy? Is he ever going to be fantasy relevant? Is he ever going to produce enough points to be on my team, especially at a contract of $7 million? Vince, I'm going to start with you this time.
You said he was young. For McTavish to be fantasy relevant, he needs to change the scenery. I think his time with Anaheim has come to an end. I think at this point they give him that 7 million that they didn't want to give him, but they give it to him. But his power play percentage went from 52 to 37. Time on ice 60, almost 17 minutes to 15.3. Shots on goal went from 125, from 181 to 125. Uh, his hits is 83, went up 83.69, meaning he plays more third, fourth line role. So I think he needs a change of scenery, and it all depends on where he lands will determine on how fantasy relevant he is. He hasn't put up the points that a guy of his stature should put up. It's his fourth NHL season. I mean, he put up 43, 42, 52, 34. So maybe this is just the player he is. But a change of scenery. If there's no change of scenery, then I don't think there's any spots for him on that Anaheim Ducks top 6 right now or next year. So I think there needs to be a change of scenery. The problem is, where is he going to go? Is the grass is not greener on the other side all the time, right? So it'll be interesting to see what Anaheim does with a player like him.
Nick?
He's he's not somebody I'm very excited about, and he's somebody that maybe I should be a little bit excited about because again he's not 25. It's not like it's the end of the road for him. But I'm starting to see worrisome signs of not being fantasy relevant, and I think that's something that's a little bit scary. I'm not out on him yet, but I'm starting to get there.
295 games played so far. He came into the league at 18 years old in 2021, 2022. So, which was COVID, if I believe, right? So, Not the easiest time to be drafted in that era, and obviously not the easiest time to come and join the team. His deployment's not great. It wasn't great before. It isn't great now with Quenville either. Last year, he had a negative 3.4 goals above expected, okay, ranking him 83rd worst. And he finished with 22 goals, which would have brought him basically to 25. In 66 games, guys, he's got 14. He's got a negative goal above expected here of -7, which would have brought him to 21, which means he would have, if, the data is accurate, he would have ended the season. He would end the season at 25 plus goals this year again, making it an improvement on last year. I don't know. I just feel like, first of all, he's part of the NHL curse. He's a third overall pick. So that alone should scare you. But I think if it wasn't for his salary, people would be more willing to give him a longer leash. I'm gonna wait one more year. Nick, you mentioned your thing is always I want to see what he's like at 24. 24 is my cutoff. Well, next January he turns 24. It'll be interesting to see if he's still with Anaheim by then. But and then that'll then we'll have to determine if being on a new team extends his leash even more. It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out for Mason McTavish. All right, let's move on now a little further down this list. This guy, there was a lot of promise about him, and quite frankly, we all got super excited. Not super excited because we liked where he was, but when he was traded, we kind of thought it was the perfect fit. Yet he hasn't quite delivered from a production standpoint. Number 19 on this list is Logan Stankoven, who's played 1,084 minutes. And I'm going to remind everybody that this is based off players who've played a minimum of 1,000 minutes this year. He's got 14 goals, 19 assists, 33 points in 71 games played. He's got a goals above expected of -5.4. Last year, he had a goals above expected of -8.9, so which was the ninth worst in the league, or the ninth unluckiest, if you will. This year, he's 19th. Slight improvement. Is it enough to still have faith in Stankoven, Nick?
Yes. I think that he's still young enough that this is going to be a quick turnaround for him. Um, I shouldn't say the quick turnaround. I should say I still think that he could develop into a number two line center for this team. Um, he's so young in the sense of he's 23 years old, but he's only played 3 seasons in the NHL, and one of them was only 24 games. So he really hasn't even hit the 200 game mark yet. And I think that's where you start seeing people really start taking off. So I believe that you have to wait at least one more year to see what's going on, and then take it from there.
Vince?
Well, I agree with Nick, especially on that Carolina team. There's a spot for him in the top six, if not as a center, as a winger for sure. So I think with him, it's just adapting to a new system. He had a full year this year to adapt to a new system. His shooting percentage at 9.5 is a little higher than last year, but lower than the 11.8 that he had before the first year in Dallas. 23 years old. He's a smaller player at 5'8", but I would wait another year. The problem with Carolina is they're so balanced in four lines that you don't see you're not going to see him play 17, 18 minutes a game. He'll have to do what he can in the 15 minutes that he gets, which sometimes is a little more difficult. And his power play percentage 32.3, so he's not on the first power play. He gets some power play time, so most of his points have to come 5v5, which Carolina is very good at. So I would hold on and give him another year just to see how he falls with Carolina.
All right, before we move on to some honorable mentions, a word from our sponsor. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. There ain't no better time to get in on the action than right now, where the playoff race is heated in the East and in the West. Have a look at what is available out there in terms of betting options and take your shot. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds requires. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL. All rights reserved. All right, guys, let's move on to a rookie. I thought this was fascinating. I briefly mentioned it to Nick while we were waiting for Vince off air. Beckett Seneca is 28th unluckiest player as of Saturday that just passed. He's got 21 goals, 34 assists, 55 points in 72 games played. If he would have scored on his chances, basically had an even goals above expected, he'd be at 25 goals on the season. He's got a 12% shooting. He's got 12% shooting percentage. Isn't it fascinating to see that a rookie that's called their nominee most likely is actually having a bit of bad luck, despite having what we think is a pretty remarkable rookie season. Vince, what do you think about Beckett Seneca, and does this increase what you think he can be? Like, does it increase your belief in what he could be in the NHL?
Oh, 100%. Our our line is that any rookie that any rookie that gets 50 or plus points during his first year is a good year. He's pacing for 63 points, 22 goals, and he's, as you can say, had bad luck on his side. So imagine if he had a bit of those bounces go his way. Is he hitting the 70, 75 points this year? So I think this is just a gem. This was a masterclass from the Anaheim Ducks, drafting him where they did, surprising everyone. And he might be one of well, he was third overall, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So he might be one of the ones that are not
Cursed.
the maiden curse, like the Mason McTavish, right? So, but he's just he's getting his minutes, 17 minutes and 30 seconds, 45% power play time. His shooting percentage is not overly inflated at 12.7. So he's I mean, there's only good things to come with Seneca over here. Anybody who thinks this is a lucky year, I think this is an elite player, and him and Leo Carlson. I mean, watch out, the NHL.
Wow. Nick?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we kind of went out on a limb. We drafted this guy in DPR. We weren't even sure what we were getting, and the third overall thing really scared me. Uh, but he's really shown that he is not just going to be an extra piece on this team. Like, he is going to be one of the main drivers of this team, and what a great job by Anaheim scouting staff. They get some good ones. Like, they get some good ones. They sucked on McTavish, but they got some other good ones. Um, so yeah, Seneca, uh, really really fun to watch his career develop, and he moves really well for a big guy. Like, he has good hands.
Very well. Let's go to another young guy. 39th on this list. So 39th unluckiest player as of Saturday, March 28th, morning time. He's played 1,349 minutes. He's got 53 points, 21 goals in 72 games played for the Columbus Blue Jackets at minus 3.7 goals above expected. Adam Fantilli seems to have a bit of bad luck this year. Nothing too concerning at minus 3.7, which would put him at just under 25 goals on the season so far. But last year, what was fascinating was that he was at 12.4 goals above expected, which means he ended the season with 32, but he scored 12 goals more than he probably should have, or in a normal circumstance, which would have brought him back to 20. So a bit of regression on the luck, but if you look at his stats, he's actually already matched the total points of last year, which is 54. And he's kind of inverted his stats. Last year, he had 32 goals and 22 assists. So far this year, he's got 21 goals and 33 assists. What's your take on Adam Fantilli, Nick? Is he just starting to blossom? Is he going to be a 35 goal scorer? What is Adam Fantilli? What is he going to be? What's peak Adam Fantilli point production?
I think point per game is not out of the realm of possibility for him in the future. And I watched him not live like Vince did, but I watched him against Montreal. His skating really stood out. He was one of the fastest players on the ice, always in the right position. He looked really good, and he looks like he's driving the play for Columbus every time he touches the puck. So I think Vatili, the sky's the limit. He's gonna be great. Yeah, it hasn't been great so far. Like, let's not kid ourselves, right? We see other guys developing faster at this point in time, and people might be out on him, but I'm not. I think that he has a lot of point per game upside moving forward.
Vince?
Yeah, at 21 years old, I mean, this kid's a gem with the Columbus Blue Jackets. They also went into a rut before they made their coaching change, but he's getting deployment, 18, almost 19 minutes of ice time, 63% on the power play. His power play points really augmented this year, 12 compared to last year, 4. Last year, he only had 43% power play time. I mean, this year it's 63, which is insane. He's worked on his face-off. He's almost at 50% face-off wins. So he's on pace for 60 points. Third season, that's not a bad total. So he's just gonna be improving. He's a bigger boy, right? He's 6'2", 205 pounds. Takes them a little longer to adapt themselves in the NHL, but this guy is gonna be a gem in the NHL.
Look, last year, it wasn't a partial breakaway fantasy hockey episode without talking about Marner. This year, it's not a partial breakaway fantasy hockey episode without talking about Austin Matthews. So, because Austin Matthews had what I think most of us consider so far an off year, only pacing for 72 points, I said, let me go see how much bad luck he's had this year. Maybe he was expected to score a little bit more, and bounces just didn't go his way for whatever reason. And Matthews is 97th on this list of bad luck at minus 1.7. So he should have scored 1.7 goals more than what he has, which is 27, which would have brought him to 28. The fascinating part of this is last year, when he scored 33 goals in only 67 games and was pacing for 95 points, he actually had a goals above expected of minus 8th, ranking him 11th on 11th worst luck on the season. So I was a bit like, whoa. So he's technically had better luck this year, but produced less than he did last year when he had bad luck. So is this Matthews not okay? He's been dealing with injuries. I'm sure part of it has to do with injuries, but could it be that this has to do with him not getting in the high danger areas to score goals? So he hasn't had bad luck, but maybe it's because he hasn't been in those situations where he should be scoring more goals as often as he was in previous years. Nick, Austin Matthews, again and again and again. Is this? We know last week you said he wasn't worth his 13 point whatever million if he can't score you. What did you say? 35 goals, 40 goals,
Yeah,
120 points,
I mean, if you're getting paid 12.5 or higher, or 12 whatever and higher,
13.3.
you should be over, you should be about 100 points, or 90 points or higher, in my opinion.
Vince, like what are we making of
Yeah,
Austin
Austin.
Matthews? I know it's a bit far fetched here, but I just
Yeah,
found
I
it
think
fascinating that he produced more when he had worse luck.
I think it's far fetched. I think this is an off season for Matthews, a season that we can take off the books, especially the way the Toronto Maple Leafs were and what the season they had. So Toronto's off season is going to be uh, interesting and very important this year, for next year. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this team. But yeah, Austin Matthews is an elite player. He's going to come back to the points that he should be getting. The only reason I don't see it happening is if this injury that's been lingering all year long is more serious than they're letting us know, and then that's where I think the problem might be.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just want to check one little thing here on Austin Matthews. High danger expected goals is 9.67 in 2023-2024. High danger expected goals was 9.67 in consecutive years. Interesting. And then this year was 9.67. So he's been pretty damn consistent with that. All right. Quickly, I'll end it with two more players who last year had great years and this year kind of had a bit of a regression. So I was curious to know if it had anything to do with bad luck or did they have good luck last year. So Thomas Harley is at minus 1.5 goals above expected. He's only got 6 goals this year, but based off his production and his play and where he's situated and the chances he gets, he's supposed to be at 7.5 goals. Not a great jump, obviously. So he is who he's expected to be according to this um, data, if you will. Last year, however, he had a goals above expected of 6.2, which means he scored 6 goals more than he was expected to based off his play and all this other extra data that we have. Now, that clearly, obviously, explains the regression we've had this year. Guys, Thomas Harley is. Do you guys think he could bounce back and be what he was or what he showed flashes of last year? Or do you think this is more likely what Thomas Harley is going to be, especially given that Heiskanen seems to have found his mojo again? Vince.
Once again, Thomas Hardy is really young. Uh, I think this year a bit of his lower stats should come because of Hiskinen's rise on the team. So I think with Hiskinen's rise, Harley obviously lost a bit of his time on ice, but he's a goal getter. He's a top pairing defenseman in on any team. So I he'll be up there next year with his normal things. But I just feel to overtake Hiskinen will take something special.
Nick? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, Nick, are you
Oh,
muted or?
sorry about that. So, I'll just say what I just said, which was really smart when I said it, but won't sound as smart this time. Uh, Thomas Harley is a player that, I think you're looking at him a little bit like a Noah Dobson, um, in Dallas, where he's gonna be a player that's gonna be around that 50 point mark, year in and year out, which is pretty valuable in fantasy. Um, but I don't see him necessarily as that 60, 70 point offensive defenseman that people were hoping he was going to turn into this year after drafting him last year, after the 50 points that he had last year, right? So, but I mean, 23 minutes of time on ice, like he's showing he's there. He's
Hmm.
gonna be valuable. And that this all just reminds me a lot of Dobson to me.
I think that's a pretty fair comparison if you ask me. And I'll end it with this guy who's also coming off a career year and now has seemed to regress. Um, I'll preface this by saying, to me, this proves that last year was an outlier year. So let me get straight to it. Dylan Strome, 110th on this list. He's got a minus 1.2 goals above expected. He's got 16 goals on the season, which would mean he should probably be at 17. Last year, however, he had 8 goals, a plus 8 goals above expected. So he finished last year with 29 goals, 8 more than he probably should have based off his underlying numbers, which would have brought him back down to 21. In the previous 3 seasons, he had 27 goals, 23 goals, and 22 goals. Starting to see a pattern here of what he actually is. Last year, 29 goals, 53 points, 53 assists for 82 points on the season. Guys, Dylan Strome, can we officially say he's between 60 and 70 point player, between a 20 and 30 goal guy? Like he's not even 30, I would say 20 and 25 more so. Or do you guys still think he can be a point per game player? Also,
Well,
by the way, cursed third overall.
third overall pick, yeah, yeah. He was a point per game player last year, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So
That's it.
he's done it before, but I always see him as a 65 point guy, and that's basically what he's shown me in the past. This is what I feel like he should be, and that 82 points in 82 games was an outlier year in my opinion. Um, his shooting percentage also during that year was at 19%, whereas his average is usually 15%. That's a pretty big difference there. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that to me he's a 65 point player.
Yeah, I think last year with the whole Ovechkin thing, he was Ovechkin's centerman. He got to those 82 points because they were pushing that Ovechkin record. I agree with Nick. He's a reliable centerman who wins faceoffs. Like his faceoff percentage is 60% this year, which is unbelievable. He still gets good power play percentage at 65, 18 minutes of ice time, but I feel he's between a 60 to 70 point player. I wouldn't push it more than that.
Guys, that's gonna do it for me for this segment. I hope it brought some important information to you fantasy GMs while you're starting already to prepare for next year and who to keep and who not to keep. I thought this was a fun exercise. Like, to what extent is it bad luck? To what extent were they very opportunistic in years past? Yeah, if you have any questions regarding this kind of stuff, just leave comments on our clips. You follow us on social media at Partial Break Pod on Instagram, X, TikTok. There'll be clips all week. And yeah, engage, and we'll tell you our thoughts, and we want to know what you think about it. You guys have been doing a great job. Thank you for the fellow Americans that have been by the millions and millions following more and more often and engaging more and more. So thank you to all you listeners. It's been nice to see the progression of this podcast, and it's all thanks to you.
What do you call cheese that isn't yours?
Did we do
Not
this
my
one
cheese.
already?
Nacho cheese.
Have an excellent end of week, everybody.
Have a
Take
good night,
care,
peeps.
everybody.
2.5 weeks left to the NHL season. The time is now.
Playoff pool.
Battle Royale. Partial Breakaway Playoff Pool is going to be live. I'm going to put out a post. You comment, leaving your email, and we're going to register you in.